Hello everybody, my name is Marla COF and I'm here today to share the harsh realities that advertisements are having on young women's perception on body image. Are you aware that the average teenager is exposed to approximately 180 minutes of media advertisements daily and only 10 minutes of parental quality time? It is therefore no surprise that younger generations are being raised and influenced with an altered belief on what true body image actually is. Were you also aware that Americans view 3,000 advertisements daily? We are all ultimately trapped in a world of deceiving fallacies, and the most vulnerable victims to this outrage are young women. My claim of fact is that advertisements are distorting young women's perception on body image. I will support my claim by informing you all about the realities of Photoshop, fad diets, and the stereotypes that the media has created for women. My first claim is that advertisements' use of Photoshop has young women emulating and striving for bodies that are unrealistic and deceiving. To clarify Photoshop, it is an image editing software that allows users to manipulate, crop, resize, and color correct on digital photos. This is exactly what is being done to every single model you have seen on a billboard, magazine, or commercial. According to idealbike.com, 100% of what you see in fashion magazines has been retouched. Does knowing that information still make you jealous of the perfect models you envy? Because it sure doesn't for me. Photoshop even has the ability to move one person's face and reattach it to a body of smaller proportions. According to a study in the UK, 15% of 18 to 24-year-olds are unaware that advertisements are ever altered in the first place. It is shocking that we live in a world where some people are blinded to the truth behind advertisements and believe that people like that actually exist. The capabilities of Photoshop are endless, and the manipulation is creating a new species of human beings. My second claim is that fad diet advertisements are prompting girls to risk their health in order to achieve the results advertised by the company. The definition of fad diets is a weight loss plan or aid that promises dramatic results. Fad diets are manipulated and transcribed in a way that makes it seem almost magical and realistic. What the victims of fad diet advertisements don't know is that most of these cleanses, pills, and diets are fraud and harmful. Examples of fad diets are the cabbage soup diet, the grapefruit diet, the master cleanse, and the chicken soup diet. As you can tell, all of these diets are focused on just one kind of food group. In an article titled Fad Diets, the American Heart Association said, "Fad diets violate the first rule of good nutrition: eat a variety of foods." Fad diets recommend exactly the opposite, promoting low-protein, low-calorie foods or liquids. However, your body needs more than that. Not only are fad diets promoting that skinny is how one should look, it is also doing so in an unhealthy way. Studies have even shown that women's magazines had 10.5 times more advertisements pertaining to weight loss programs than are found in men's magazines. This overexposure of fad diet advertisements is a major contributing factor as to why young women all around the world are depriving their bodies of essential nutrition. My third claim is that advertisements are slowly stereotyping women into one general category. Some of you may or may not be aware of the infamous trendy teen sensation store called Brandy Melville. Sure, the store is stocked with the latest trends in teen style, but did you know that every single item of clothing is the same exact size? That's right, every clothing size is labeled with a one-size-fits-most tag. The problem with this is that one size definitely does not fit most, or even close to half of the general female population. An article in Daily Trojan stated, "When girls already wallow in a world of self-loathing, we don't need stores like Brandy Melville reinforcing ideas of a cookie-cutter shape." Brandy Melville may be receiving the most attention for this ridiculous company policy, but they are not the only store to do this, and they will not be the last to do this either. If advertisements are sending a message that young teens should all belong in the same size category, imagine what young girls think about body image and the immense pressure they feel to fit in. To further defend my claim that women are being generalized into one size category, the retail store Urban Outfitters recently released a shirt that says "Eat Less" on the front. Although the shirt has been recalled due to controversy, the damage has already been done and the media's message is loud and clear. In conclusion, the advertising business is a sad reality to the constant pressure and shame that young girls feel today. It is the deceiving work of Photoshop, fad diets, and media stereotypes that have brought me to this realization. Today, 90% of women are dissatisfied with their appearance, and I'm sure that relates to some of you sitting in this very room as it does to myself. There's no one to blame for this except for the advertisements that are distorting young women's perception on body image.
right, the opening identifies what the subject matter is. It takes you a while you've got some rhetorical questions with some data built into them, but you do finally identify what the proposition is, and it's pretty clear. It's talking about the influence that advertising is going to have. So I'm set up, I know where you're going there, and you've got a good preview of what the supporting structure is going to be. Then you talk about blaming Photoshop. You define what Photoshop is, you tell us how it works, but there's an assumption that there's some envy. There's not a demonstration that women or anybody is influenced by the images that they have in those magazines, in the ads. That the magazines manipulate the images, I think there's probably not any dispute about that. You do have one study that says in Great Britain, 15% of the people were unaware that there was any adjustment to the images in ads, which is okay information, although I'm not exactly sure that it strongly supports your position, because it seems to suggest that there's a large chunk of people who are aware that this kind of manipulation takes place. But even with that awareness of the manipulation, where's the stuff that says women are trying to model themselves on the bodies that they see in these ads, that it influences them in any way, shape, or form, except that they maybe feel bad about themselves, which is the closest you come to having any identifiable argument that says this is what it causes. It causes this kind of thing. But even that, the closest you get to that is the statement that you have right at the end, and I think that information probably should have come earlier in the speech, that says 90% of women are dissatisfied with their appearance. That, I think, would kind of fit with that first point, and that would, I think, have been helpful there. The argument about fad diets is a little bit confusing, because there's certainly a criticism of fad diets and the problems that they have, but the link to advertising is not clear at all. I don't know that fad diets ever get who sells the grapefruit diet or the other diets that you mentioned there. That sounds to me like it's more about people speculating or writing about those things. The connection to advertising is not very clear at all. And remember, that's the proposition that you have, that it's the ads that are producing this. So if you've got examples of ads that promote these fad diets, those would be something that you'd want to have in your argument and say, for example, there are 6 ads in the Vanity Fair that promote whatever diet is you had a whole list of them. I don't remember what they all were, but there were several of them that now I got to look. Where were some of those diets? Not the grapefruit diet. That's an oldie one. Oh yeah, there's a chicken soup diet, and the low protein diets where they all eat a particular kind of food. I would imagine, let's say, if there was a diet that said just eat bacon, maybe the bacon manufacturers out there have an ad that says go with the bacon diet or something like that. But like I said, this is the link that you have, and I'm not sure I see a connection to advertising there. All right, I thought that you did a good job trying to cite examples in the presentation, and you had, like I said, a little bit of statistical information. I think you needed a little bit more. The stuff that you had in the introduction was pretty good. I should give you a little bit more credit for that. All right, and I thought it was delivered pretty effectively. The example on the last point with the clothing store, for instance, again, I'm not sure that that's a tie-in to advertising. There might be social trends that are demanding these kinds of things. I'm not sure that I think you need to explain a little bit more why the one-size-fits-all doesn't work. Depending upon, that sounds to me like they just sell really big clothes that everybody could wear, and why that's a problem, I think, needs to be explained a little bit more. It seems like there's a presupposition that this is in some way offensive or problematic without an explanation about why it is offensive and problematic. All right, thank you.